The qualification session is at Circuit de Nevers Magny Cours in Magny Cours, France. Christoph Pilz from Germany is P1.
The joys of living in the Midwest United States.
Alright, and we're live. Greetings, petrolheads, and welcome to RomRom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to yet another broadcast of the Open Wheel Racing Championship, racing today in Magny-Cours. My name is Serta, and I'm not alone here. With me, as always, the man with the voice of 1,000 angels, Cody Swanson. Cody, how are you doing?
Howdy, everybody. It is great to be here. I'm excited for this race at Magny-Cours.
And as always, with the Open Wheel Racing broadcast, Tom Kearns is with us too. Hi, Tom. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you, sir. So can't wait for some racing here on a Magny-Cours circuit, which I've not seen too much racing since the last time Formula One had done a Grand Prix there in 2008. So I'm really looking forward to some action here today.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they even raced once here, because this is not an easy track. I did a test of the mod for the mod tests that I have in the channel, and goodness me, it has one kind of straight and the rest is incredibly technical.
Mm-hmm. This was actually one of my favorite circuits from an older sim title that I had. GT Legends.
GT Legends? Are you sure it was not GTR2?
Well, I knew it from GT Legends. Okay. And we've had that discussion before. But yeah, this is a really fun circuit in, low downforce, low grip cars. In a high downforce, high grip car, oh boy, it's a whole nother animal.
And what I would want to say about Magny-Cours as well is, there's also that newest part of the racetrack towards the end of the lap, which obviously I think they've sort of designed it back in 2003 it was, to help aid overtaking, because overtaking is rather quite difficult actually on the Magny-Cours circuit. And there's also the Adelaide hairpin, the one after the Estoril right-hander after the Grande curve. Mm-hmm. That's somewhere where drivers can complete an overtake, but other than that, the number of overtakes you do see around Magny-Cours are, I don't want to say few and far between, but you don't get them as many as on like on other racetracks.
And that hairpin is a mother. It's like you are all happy saying, "Oh, at last I'm on the throttle," and then you're like, "No, why aren't you stopping? Oh no, oh no, oh no." So yeah, in real life, it's full of gravel. So if you go out there, you're out. Bye bye. Have fun.
Of course, over the years at Magny-Cours, I've seen some changes. I think after the first race it did in '91, I wouldn't say tightened, but they've sort of made the, those right and left kings before the Nürburgring chicane. They've made them smoother, and then I think the next part that was changed, I think, was 2003 that I've already mentioned to you about. But other than that, there's not really that much changed at Magny-Cours. But I would like to see Formula One racing there again. But the only problem is, will today's cars actually suit the Magny-Cours track?
Today's cars, today's drivers, they are such babies.
I was meaning
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was meaning Formula One cars. Just thinking, for the future of the sport itself. But in regards to this, it's fine. You can see the track's wide enough for these cars. It's just whether they'll be able to do that for real life Formula One.
What I find also very interesting at Magny-Cours is the names of the different curves are, as you said, the one is Adelaide, the other is Nürburgring. There's a curve called Estoril. So they took, for the names of the curves, they took other tracks that are also quite known and quite famous. So I thought it's a nice thing to do.
It helps them recognise them more. But the reason why they called it do you know why they called it that Nürburgring section?
Because of the Nürburgring chicane?
Yeah, it's the Castrol S that used to be there, like 1 and 2.
Oh, so they took the tarmac and all and brought it to Magny-Cours?
Did they really?
Really? Oh, bother.
Yeah. Well, I know the Imola one's there because I think that's probably named after. That must be Tamburello, because obviously, if it is Tamburello, there'll be just like a mirrored image of the Tamburello chicane. And then the last term, I think it's called the complex Lissi. I think it's called that, or Lissi pin, which takes you on to the final chicane before the end of the lap.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's something exciting. The official lap record around Magny-Cours in a race was set by Michael Schumacher in the F2004, and it's a 1 minute 15.377. And these drivers in our little simulated Magny-Cours in our simulated Formula car is a 1 minute 11.663. So we're
Christoph Bose even
faster.
was able to do 110 in practice.
Yes, absolutely.
But we've always said the times that you set up in sim racing are not comparable for many reasons, especially because a sim will never have Timo Rosen had a big bang, because the physics, the simulated physics of sim racing have leave a lot out of the real life physics.
And what I would say as well, you know, the race lap record you've just mentioned there, Cody. That's to do with the race. That's nothing to do with qualifying or practice. The qualifying or practice times will be considerably better than what you would see during a race, considering the fuel loads involved. I may be able to find out what the track record is, though.
The fastest pole that was ever set here was 1:13 by Fernando Alonso.
In 2005.
Well, there we go.
I have it as 2004, but I trust your knowledge much more than my knowledge.
Okay. Well, let's not forget that, you know, when we had the Q1, Q2 and Q3 system, the Q1 and Q2 times were better than the Q3 ones, and the reason why is because those who make it into Q3 have to go into that last part with the race fuel load for the first stint of the race, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Understood.
So yeah, the 1 minute 13.6 was what Fernando Alonso had set for his qualifying, for his pole position time, and yeah, it wasn't better than. No one managed to do better than that, I don't think, unless you can find one from 2003 or something. And also, the cars back then were normally aspirated engines, whereas these will be turbocharged, won't they?
Oh, so somebody getting the chicane right before the start and end straight in a very unconventional way. What is to say, he went flying.
Indeed,
I fear
Timo
we're
Rosen
see it
also.
a couple of times today.
Oh yes, definitely. Timo Rosen also with an off. There's been a lot of instances of these drivers in practice and qualifying, which, of course, in practice and qualifying and sim racing, you have a lot more license to push and really explore what the limits are in a more explosive way than you would be able to otherwise. But we've definitely been seeing a lot of drivers who are speeding through some of these corners where you're, going fast and at the limit of grip, and just getting a wheel off just slightly, and then boom, the rest of the car just goes with it, and you're in the wall.
5 minutes remaining.
And it's going to be interesting to see how much of that we may see in the race.
So allow me to ask you this question, Cody and Serta. Would you love to see Formula 1 race at Magny-Cours again? Because I would.
Oh yeah,
yes. Oh yes.
Yeah, I like the
it's a
variation.
track that I love. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the variation in circuits just overall is fantastic, and if it's the French Grand Prix, you can't. I mean, it's this circuit versus Paul Ricard.
No contest.
Paul Ricard. So yes, I would love to see Formula One come to this track.
I'd even say, as much as I love Spa, if it would be a contest between Magny-Cours and Spa, I would take Magny-Cours. And
Shut your mouth. I love Spa.
mean, Spa is a fantastic track that I dearly, dearly, dearly love.
I mean, there's also other ones like scoreboard tracks like Red Bull Ring, which we do enjoy. There's also Monza. There's also, I mean, even the old Barcelona layout. If you were to remove the chicane, the final chicane, before the end of the lap, you'll be able to get a good toe on the start-finish straight, much better toe on the start-finish straight than you would do in today's Formula 1, where the chicane is being used. But hopefully that will be taken away in future seasons.
Yeah, I really
Are they
dislike
discussing
that
that?
chicane at Barcelona.
Is that a point that people are discussing to take it out?
There was something that was being posted by Motorsport Week the other week about Barcelona considering removing that chicane should they just get a new contract to continue hosting the Spanish Grand Prix.
And if they get a new contract, that's a good discussion, as they had to change the management because they were losing money like crazy. So we'll see if they get a new contract is going to convert into they are going to.
So something interesting. Oh, go ahead.
No, go on, Cody.
Sure, something interesting that I'm seeing, a pain point for a lot of drivers. Of course, we've been mentioning the chicane, but I think one of the other pain points that I've been seeing a lot has actually been Estoril. I've seen a lot of drivers try to take Estoril full throttle and really rely on the downforce. I'm definitely seeing a lot of what looks to me like they're going for high downforce setups and trying to like maximize their cornering for Estoril, because it does lead out onto the big back straight. And I'm seeing a lot of drivers take it a little too hot and go off around the outside. And so I think that will be a spot of the track to watch and see. I think if you're a theoretical viewer actually at the track and you're wanting to see some crashes, Estoril Corner would not be a bad place to set up shop. That's my prediction for the race.
We'll see how it goes.
See we shall.
I mean, that Estoril turn, I mean, imagine today's Formula 1 cars going through there with the amount of downforce there is in comparison to what it used to be back in 2008. I mean, my goodness me. That's just something to die for, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
and to a large degree, we're kind of looking at it, and yeah, it's intense. The speeds they're able to carry through these corners is incredibly impressive.
It reminds me a little bit of Mugello when you see these cars going through these sort of windy bits of Estoril and the Nürburgring and the Imola chicanes. Compare that to Mugello last year, where Formula 1 raced at. And Lewis Hamilton, there's a...
Bose and Westerhoff got involved.
Yeah, I just wonder who he collected on the way out of his impounded.
It was Bose and Westerhoff.
Yeah. Okay, back to what I was saying about Mugello. If you compare like past sections of, I think it's Scarpiero, I think it's called, after San Donato, the windy bits of Bersetto before you go down to where Arrabbiata 1 and 2 is, it sort of compares to Magny-Cours a little bit in terms of the amount of downforce is required to go that quick through those sections.
Alright, qualifying has ended. We have Bose, Interna, Cochrane, Westerhof and Rosen as the 5 drivers that have set up a time. So let's see how this goes. Race is gonna start quite soon.
Bit of a smaller turnout than we've enjoyed in previous OWR races. It's perhaps the circuit has scared some people away, and perhaps there's other commitments, but we are very grateful to those that we do have here, and big shout out to you guys. We're looking forward to the racing that we're going to see here. Notably absent is David Southward, who was
who was in the Discord just minutes ago, so I don't understand it.
Yeah, he was in the Discord just minutes ago, and he's been leading in points pretty handily. But the guy behind him has been Christoph Bose, and Christoph Bose is here.
Yep.
And so he will be earning points and catching up to David Southward and I think Pano Speedy also. It was third in points, and he is not here as well. Alex Cochran in fourth is, though. So it looks like we might see, just by nature of finishing this race, it looks like we might see...
there's David.
Oh!
David said, screw qualifying, I'm going to do a no-quali race. Okay,
alrighty.
good for him. Good for him. I mean, why not?
That throws a wrench in things. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Lights
I don't
are
know
on.
where all the other competitors are at, to be honest with you.
Race start.
And they're
Cody
off.
Swanson entering the pit.
Here we go.
Alex Cochran is third.
All right, quite tight racing. Bose, Cochrane.
Unless you're Christoph Bose, and then you're running away with it. But yes, Cochrane, Southward, and Eden Tema are very close together, fighting for that second position there. Early on, first couple corners.
So just looking through the Adelaide Hairpin, Southward, just tucking into third place there. So he's made a good start from sixth on the grid to get himself up there. He's got Cochrane and Bose, who will most certainly be much tougher drivers to get past.
Absolutely. This is a 30-lap race, but laps are long around Magny-Cours, and so I think that they're going to have to really, control how they race. You can't win it in the first couple laps here, and you certainly can lose it in the first couple of laps here. Whoa, big bump from Southward onto Cochrane. A little bit of what we're talking about, going a little hot into that chicane. And Southward makes the pass on Cochrane. Southward has moved up from 6th position starting, or I think it may have been 5th position starting. Yeah, 5th position starting up to 2nd position on the first couple laps.
Yeah, so
Which,
no
if you're
quality
Christoph
challenge
Bose,
accepted.
yes, challenge accepted, last to first. If you're Christoph Bose, you're going, dang it. You were looking at a very easy opportunity to move up towards David Southward in points, and then right now he's in your mirrors. Oh man.
Well, it's gonna take a while until he's in the mirrors, but yeah, he's gonna be, I'm pretty sure.
I still expect it to be quite quick, this one, because although you touched on there, Cody, that this is quite a long lap, it's not that long when you think about it, because yes, there are some slow corners involved, but the laps will count down quicker than you'll probably think.
Perhaps. I did mention that I might.
Ooh, Cochrane
Uh-oh.
went out.
Uh-oh. Oh yeah, Cochrane way off in the dirt. Got to get himself turned around there, and
Intima's gonna.
Intima.
Yep.
Yep. He makes the pass, barely avoids him. But yeah, definitely makes the pass. Cochrane is back safely. And so there you go, your top three: Bose, Southwood, and Agent Timma.
Dave Southward is second.
A lot of action, and we are on lap 3 of 30.
0.686 off the fastest lap.
Tom, I interrupted you. Sorry.
It's okay. Southwood will be thinking about the championship actually as well with Bose leading. So Southwood will need to get onto the tail of him very, very soon. Can't quite remember what the championship standings are as we speak, but I know that Southwood's race at Silverstone wasn't particularly plain sailing.
Right.
He was able to get the race victory that day, which is the first of the season for him.
Let me tell you in a minute because I have information somewhere here.
Dave Southward on lap 4 is second.
So Southward
4.8
is
behind
first in the
Christoph
championship with 86 points. After that is Christoph Bose with 77, Alex Cochrane with 65, Panos Speedy with 47, Matt DJ with 38, David Halligan with 36, Tim Intena with 35, and Jordi Lovis with 27, who apologized he would not be able to be here today.
Indeed, we had 13 drivers signed up, and only 5 were able to make it. Interestingly enough, so.
Well, one of those was Jordi who
Yes.
signed up and then said, "Oh, whoops, sorry, no, I can't."
Indeed.
Dave Southward.
So he has some prior engagement over in Finland that he must attend to.
But yeah, with
Southwood's-
those standing, go ahead.
Yeah, Southwood 4 seconds behind Bose now as they complete lap 4. So I just wonder how long it'll be before Bose continues to, managing the gap before they do come in for their mandatory pit stop.
Behind Tim
Indeed, the pits are open at the moment.
And Bose is on a harder tire than Southwood, if I see it correctly.
Yeah, because Southwood's on the C3 and Bose is on the C4, so that perhaps explains Bose's pace in comparison to Southwood's.
Just as an information to anyone who's interested, C2, C3, and C4 are the tires allowed for this race, and the rules are similar to that, to those of Formula 1. The drivers have to pit and have to change tires, no refueling allowed.
Alex Cochrane is fourth, 3.5 behind Tim Ijantima.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. The times between the distance in time between Bose and Southward is quite stable with 4 seconds. Ooh. You saw. Go ahead.
Dave Southward.
I was just going to say Argentina's got in front of Cochrane through all that, so although there may have been just swapping positions like corner by corner at the moment, but we are now on lap 6 with Southwood beginning to close in a little bit on Bose, who just gets by the back marker of Vesterhoff as they go past.
Alex Cochrane is fourth, 2.5 behind Tim Ijantima.
Westerhoff goes off in the grass as he gets lapped, it looks like.
Yeah, he himself told me before the race that he hadn't done one lap in Magny-Cours, and he wasn't even sure if he should go into the race. And I told him, come on. I mean, you most positively are going to be last because this is a difficult track, but at least you're racing with the others. And he said, yeah, true that.
Well, hey, there we go. As long as he's able to avoid any accidents, let the leaders go by, no problem with that.
for that.
So we're now on lap 7. You can see the gap 3.5 seconds. So I can imagine that Southwood's tyres will be coming into their window in comparison to Bose. So that's something to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, Bose is on the C4s. Are those harder tires?
No, C4 are the soft. The
Those
softer
are the softer tires. Okay.
Yeah.
But it looks like Bose perhaps has not been having to push as hard. Of course, the softer tires are going to give you the advantage. Cochrane and Westerhoff, they are on the harder tires then, and so they are. It's actually we've got Bose with the softs in front. We've got the guys on the mediums, Southwood and Agentema in the middle, and Cochrane and Westerhoff are on the hards, and they're behind. So if we're just thinking about this in terms of tire strategy, it makes sense.
Well, Southwood will be managing those tyres at this stage in comparison to Bose. I mean, the gap's continuing to come down, so Bose's tyres will be beginning to go off at the moment. If you further behind, you can see the battle of the third between Argentema and Cochrane. So whilst there may only be 5 competitors in this, we're still seeing a couple of good battles out on circuit.
Oh, absolutely.
Dave Southward is second, 2.3 behind Christoph Bose.
What I like from the cameras that we're seeing is we can see how much stress for the cars this track is, which all its curves and differences, and you have to brake here and go on the throttle there. It's a very technical track, and that's something that the images are showing us very well.
Alex Cochrane is P4.
And I think that this this circuit was actually a conversion ages ago from GTR2 or GT Legends, or one of the two. So the ING billboards that we're seeing around the track are a bit of a blast from the past, aren't they?
But ING still exists as a company.
Well, yes, but they don't sponsor anything anymore right now.
Oh, and Westerhoff just said in the chat that his wheel got disconnected. So he
oh no.
Yeah, he says himself that he's been driving quite badly, and then his wheel gets disconnected, which makes things even worse, of course.
That's unfortunate. He had a great opportunity to get some race laps in and get some serious hands-on practice, but the thing you have your hands on starts to not work. Well, that kind of throws a wrench in things, doesn't it? So our heart goes out to you, Westerhoff, and we hope to see you in the next one.
Yeah, next one being Spa on the 12th of June.
Yep. We have a battle shaping up between Cochrane and Agentema. Cochrane has caught up and is less than half a second behind. Oh no! But Cochrane spins it. He loses it around the 180-degree corner. Wow. Goodness.
Did somebody see? Did he clip the chicane there?
No, he didn't. He didn't go off track. But he just bumped it a little too hard and was going into the corner, and it just upset the car enough to lose traction. But that was shaping up to be such a good battle. He's still only about 5 seconds behind. We're on lap 10 of 30, and we'll have the opportunity to see him catch up if he continues the pace that he's had.
In the meantime, Southward 2 seconds away from Bose.
And getting closer and closer as Bose's soft tires start to fall off, and Southwood's mediums carry him a little bit further. But this also would mean that Bose is getting close to being pit stop ready.
Yeah, you gather that they are going to be around lap...
P2,
well, I mean, Bose with
behind
C4s, of
Christoph
course.
Mm-hmm.
No, but if the guys with C2s have not gone into into pits yet, why would Bose do that?
If Tom was correct, the C2s are the harder tires.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So
yeah,
C2.
I got it backwards.
Yeah. We read it backwards. Yeah. So C4 is in actual fact the softest of the 3 compounds for Magny-Cours. C3 is the mediums and C2 is the hard.
Thanks for correcting
There we go.
So you can see Bose there. You can see the red side marked tyres. That's the soft compound that he's on.
Yeah.
Whereas the Southwood, he's got the yellow marked mediums. That's the C3.
And he's getting closer and closer. He's down to a
Oh, yeah.
second behind now. And in that slow 180-degree corner, you can really see him get close together. Of course, it rubber bands, and on the straights, it gets a little bit further behind. But then as we slow down here for this one, they're just a couple car lengths away from each other.
Alex Cochran is P4.
Let's see when Bose goes into
9
pits.
behind Tim Ijantima.
Indeed, it will probably be pretty soon, because if Southward passes him and Bose is then stuck behind him, it'd probably be better for him to pit anyways and then come out into clean air. Oh, and there he is. Bose comes into the pits right there on lap 12 of 30. And let's see. Ijantima looks like he is going to... he's 0.2 laps away. We'll see if Bose can get moving. Yep, Bose is out. Yep, Bose comes out in second place. Southward is in first. Ijantima is still in third. Cochran still in fourth.
So can Southwood go on and complete an overcut? I think it's going to be very difficult for him to do so. So depending on how far he can take those medium tyres before he does pit, and then go onto a soft compound, which will play into his hands later on in the race when it comes to fighting it out with Bose for the race win.
Bose has come out in medium compound tires, and so he has now got what Southward has, and I'm going to guess Bose, here on lap 12:30, he's probably going to try to make these medium tires last to the end of the race, is my guess.
I suppose they're all gonna do a one-stop strategy. I would be surprised if any of them does a two-stop strategy. I mean, for all its technicality, I did not get the impression in my tests and my driving that Manicourt was especially an eater of tires.
I think it kind of depends on how you drive it. I think that
Of
Southward
course.
and Bose are both being pretty conservative with it, and they've got the pace. Entrances and exits are all on point, using all the space, and they don't have to stress the tires too terribly much. Westerhoff I was looking at before he retired, and Cochran actually. I think that they're a little bit harder on their tires than they probably should be. And so I think that Cochran, maybe Ijantima, they may end up doing two-stop, but they haven't come in yet, and we're almost halfway through the race. So I think that we'll probably be fine. Yep, Southward is in the pits.
And let's see, Bose is now on the start and end straight.
Dave Southward
Bose
passed
getting
for the
out.
lead.
Yeah, no. Southward
He
is
beat
gonna
him
get
out.
the Bose out.
Dave Southward
We'll get
for
it
Yep, Southward comes out on hard tires.
And
That's
2
interesting.
seconds away from Bose, so they none of both
1.2
gained
behind Tim Ijantima.
much with that. Okay,
Indeed, but
interesting to see.
tire strategy is going to be interesting here because, Bose started on softs and went to mediums midway through, and Southward started on mediums and has gone to softs. But Southward has less time in the race to race on softs than Bose did, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the tire degradation goes on between the two of them. Southward has less to drive on those soft tires, but he's got to make it last to the end of the race. And then Bose has been driving for longer on those mediums, and he's got to make it to the end of the race on those too.
And the battle
And
between Intima and Cochrane is back. As we can
Oh,
see
yes, it is.
On the screen.
Absolutely. But just wrapping up my thought, Bose and Southward have chosen reverse but very similar pit strategies, and it'll be interesting to see which one wins out. Yes, here we have Agent Tima and Cochrane getting very close to each other here in the hard corners.
This is a really important part of the race now, because Southwood, if he can maintain the gap he's got of 2 seconds to Bose, because he's on long, well, tyres they're going to be doing, oh, they're going to be wearing out later than Bose's set of boots, then Southwood's going to be closing in the last few laps of the race.
Oh, certainly, certainly. That'll be a very, very interesting thing to see. They're actually getting Southwood is actually catching up to Bose even as we speak. Getting down to as close as like 1.7 seconds it looked like there. We're on board here with Southward.
And now we're halfway through the race now as well. This race has gone quicker, really, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It really has. This is going to be... Whoa! Agent Tema spins it again.
Oh.
We've seen that that story twice now. He gets so close to Cochrane and he's pushing and pushing, and just loses it whenever he gets right up to him.
I mean, I do know that Assetto Corsa has a good emulation of the airflow, so maybe he's having problems with their air.
Possibly. He pits in now, so it might have actually been his medium tires. He hadn't pit in before. It might have been his tires giving out on him. That would be my guess. But he's got new shoes on, and he's coming out and going around Esterol to try again, pushing and catching Cochrane, who still, I believe, also has to come into pits if he hasn't already.
We're looking at Alex Cochrane, who is well clear of Argentina. I can't see him troubling Bose and Southwood, so he looks to be, having to settle for third unless something does happen between Bose and Southwood.
2.5 behind Christoph.
He is on hard tires and has not come into pit yet, and so I think if he does pit and if he comes out on softs, Southward and Bose are racing their race of attrition. And we're coming down to, the last third of the race, while Southward and Bose will be on their tires for half of the race. So I think that if Cochrane can go on softs and just nail down lap after lap, he may actually have a chance. We may have a three-way battle, but it'll all depend on Cochrane's ability to essentially hot lap this on softs. And Bose and Southward, they have to chase each other and slow each other down for that in their process of battling, which it looks like we're going to get.
Yeah, but not right now. I mean, the times are quite stable between those two. The distance between those is always around 2 seconds.
It has been, but I've watched it fluctuate. I've watched it fluctuate to as far down as 1.5 seconds. And then I've seen it go back.
Out?
That looks like Agent Tima.
Oh, bother.
Indeed. And he is now over half a lap behind Cochrane. So it looks like it's going to be hard for him to catch up, especially if Cochrane pits in and comes out on softs. It's going to be kind of tough for him to get a better position than what he has now, barring a major incident from the top three. But I've been watching the times between Southward and Bose. I've been watching it fluctuate, and I think that yes, it has been stable at the moment, but just one mistake from either of them could really change the game significantly, because it's been kind of stable, but it has fluctuated, and it might get to a point where they're 1.5 seconds away, and then one of them has a mistake. Well, then it's a very, very close race very, very suddenly. And so I would describe Southward's position as within striking distance.
And Argentina goes again into pits?
Indeed, that might be repairing damage.
Yeah.
possibly.
1.9 ahead of Dave.
Or he came out on mediums from that previous one. Oh yes, he came out on mediums, and now he's changing over to hards. With 10 laps left to go for him, probably.
Cochrane is going into. Oh!
Alex Cochrane
Cochrane went into pits and
Oh
somehow.
no! A little too heavy. That's gonna really delay the amount of time that he's gonna be in the pits.
Especially if he has
He's
to
gotta
repair the wing.
damage. Yeah.
The only thing I would say to that is, has he reversed in the pit lane? I mean, I suppose in those circumstances it might be
I
alright.
don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in
Oh no!
What the?
He comes out of his pit box and hits the garage, hits the side of the garage, unfortunately. Oh, he's spun it backwards just slightly. We'll have to see if that gets picked up by race control. But it was just a spin around to get going straight again. So I don't think they will punish him heavily for that. It's certainly better than the alternative of just being stuck in the pit lane.
Of course, all these shenanigans will help Argentema.
Dave southward is Pete.
Yes, absolutely. Argentema now 0.4 laps behind Cochrane. I suppose all my faffing about Cochrane being able to catch Bosun southward might not ring so true at the moment. He's over a lap down.
It.
10 laps to go, indeed. But Argentema has, a new life on Cochrane, perhaps, if he can manage to catch up with them. Cochrane did, however, come out on softs like I thought he would in an attempt to catch Bosun southward. And so, barring that mistake, I think he had the strategy right to catch them, but just those little mistakes add up, and he had two of them right there in the pit lane, one right after another.
And Southward is now 1 second away from Bose.
What did I tell you? Striking distance.
There were a couple of instances where it looked, Bose is struggling. Bose has either some technical issues or issues with the track, which would not surprise me at all. Bose is struggling. There's a couple of points where you see him having to correct the car.
I did mention that Bose is on mediums, but he's been out on those mediums for longer. He was our first driver to pit. He pitted all the way back on like lap 10 or 11. And so he's gone through this race on mediums, and those mediums are getting towards the end of their life, and he's only he's driven like a little less than 10 of 20 laps, about roughly, that he needs to drive on those if he's truly going for just one pit stop.
Tim Argentema is P4.
And Southward is on those harder tires, but those are going to last longer. And so I think Southward may have had the better pit strategy because he is closer and closer to him.
And we're seeing Argentema on hard tires.
Yes, indeed. Argentema's on hard tires, which I think is, I don't know, he came in initially for his pit stop, and he pitted on mediums, and then he went around again, like second-guessed himself and went on hards.
After spinning out.
Yeah, after spinning out. And so, that's interesting to see. Perhaps he was just going with the more durable thing, going with the more durable tire, just like, if I spin out again, I don't want to have to come into the pits to change my tires. With hard tires, there's less fear of flat spotting it. Southward and Bose getting even closer, coming out of that final chicane on the home straight.
Yeah, do I see it
0.7
right that
seconds
Bose
away.
is struggling with the Imola chicane? Because it always looks like he's having issues with that chicane, and there's where Southward eats up his time.
I think to a degree. I think you're right. I haven't observed that, but I also haven't been paying attention to it. And so, yeah, there might just be something there. We will have to see. They'll be coming around again quite shortly, coming around 180-degree corner right now. Aptly named.
Ah, no, Southward is eating his time at any point. Now he's 0.4 away.
Oh yeah, I think that he is catching up to him on tires. I haven't seen Bose get into any damage, and so I think that this is tires, because Bose has had good pace. He qualified very highly. We of course didn't see a qualifying time from Southward, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see a last first challenge from Southward, maybe. Maybe.
Alex Cochran is third.
A 1 minute 13.697 for Southward. Whoa, Bose gets into the gravel and Southward passes him. There we go. There was that mistake we were talking about. Just a slight off around Estoril. A corner that I knew that we needed to look out for. And yep, just slightly got off there. He did manage to save it, which is incredibly impressive. But yeah, Southward takes advantage of that mistake. But Bose is not going to let him have it easily. He's going to do his very, very best to stay behind him, striking distance, as we said, because now Southward is in front. He's got Bose in his mirrors, and the pressure coming in from those mirrors, that can be something. That could be something that weighs on a driver, you know? You look back, you see the nose of the car behind you getting closer and closer and closer, and you've got to wonder, oh, is he going to go into the back of me? You know, is he going to catch me? What's he doing that I'm not doing? And I think that if you're a driver, it's a lot nicer to chase than to be chased.
On the other hand, I don't think he's feeling the pressure too much because he's already 1 second away.
That's true. I think the pace does have a lot to do with that, and their tires. Tom?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Southwood's on better tyres at this stage now than Bose, so Bose's tyres were starting to fall away. And, we've had Cochrane as well having a moment on the start-finish straight that will allow Ein Temmer to close in a little bit on
Indeed.
the
Yeah, we have been seeing Cochrane. We haven't been paying too much attention because we've been focusing on Southward and Bose and their battle. But Cochrane has been like a little slow on some of the exits and a little bit, a little bit sloppy in some corners.
And Bose spun.
Oh no! Big spin from Bose.
Yeah, losing over 6 seconds.
Oh goodness! Oh my goodness! Yep.
It may very well be what Tom, what you have been saying, that his tires are gone.
Yep, he's on mediums, but he's been on mediums since the first third of the race on those same medium tires, and so I think they're just falling off at the moment, and I think he may have pitted a little too soon.
Tom, do you know how long the tires would survive normally?
For Magny-Cours, I think for a 50% race, I would have thought they would be able to do 21 laps, the hard tires, whereas the mediums are only like 14. So it could be the fact that Bose came in for the mediums on lap 11, I think it was.
Yeah.
His tires are going off pretty much by now, if I'm honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And we are
with 4 laps left to go.
4 laps away, exactly what you said.
Yep. Yeah, with 4 laps left to go, Cochrane is over a lap behind, but he is on softs, and he's on relatively new softs. They've all been on their tires for a while now, especially compared to the tires that they are. And so everybody's going to be fighting that tire degradation. The lap times have been getting slower and slower throughout. Yep, Bose comes into the pits. He realizes,
but
my tires are gone.
closed.
Oh, there might be a penalty there. But he's realizing he has to come in in order to make it. But Cochran gets the lap back. Or does
That's
he?
something. Oh
No, he beats him out. He beats him
Tim
out.
has gone again.
Oh, and Tim is off.
Yeah. And that's something that you hate when you're driving. It's like 5 laps to the end, but your tires are not feeling it anymore, and you're like, okay, if I go into pits now, I'm gonna lose position. If I don't go into pits now, I may lose the whole race. What the heck am I supposed to do?
So here's something notable. Bose is 0.2 laps away from Southward. He's been catching up to him. I don't know if he'll catch up to him enough to challenge him in like the final lap or something, but he's been getting closer. He was previously like a good ways away after his mistake, but he's getting closer and closer and closer. We'll see.
C4
There's not a whole lot of time left in the race, though.
So if we're crossing over the line to complete lap 27, and we've got 3 laps remaining now, and it looks so Southwood is going to be returning back to winning ways, something which he hasn't.
Alex Cochran is third.
Yeah, I mean, and Bose is like 15 seconds away. I don't think he's gonna be able to beat them.
No. Eden Timma, though. Cochran is in the pits. Eden Timma is... Oh, he's on the other side of the track, though. Cochran's back out. Yep, Cochran's going to maintain off of Eden Timma. Eden Timma's close enough, but I don't think it's going to be close enough to catch him in these last couple laps here. It has definitely been a race of tire strategy, that is for sure. We've had some great battles, some pressure mistakes, some just barely going off that changed the course of the race. But for most of it, it's been a battle of the tire strategies.
Interesting.
And
I
so
would have
far,
said
Southward's won out.
Magny-Cours is more a battle of how well a driver you are, but that shows how bad a driver I am that I don't even get to think about tire strategies.
I think a lot of it may have also been, the lower turnout for this race. With fewer drivers on course, there's less, traffic battle to go through. And so it's really, really easy as the race goes on and spreads out that, as most of the drivers are experiencing right now, you just kind of don't see anybody for a little while. And so you get time to think about, all right, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? And so it's less of a like wheel-to-wheel action for this race as it was like what driver is thinking about things in the best manner for that. The interesting thing about sim racing, as we come around to the last couple laps here, interesting thing about sim racing is oftentimes at the lower levels you are not only a driver, but you're also your own crew chief, you're your own mechanic and strategist as well.
Oh yeah. Southward started the last lap. And by the way, what you're saying, if I remember correctly, R Factor 2 is going to be working on getting different roles for broadcast and for teams. We may
Alex
see
Cochran from United
in
Kingdom
the
is
future
third.
of R Factor 2, we may see we may see engineers especially for enduro races.
Oh, that is exciting.
So Southwood's about to complete the last lap now. He's going to be taking his 3rd victory of the season here in Magny-Cours.
is fourth.
Not an easy one. I mean, he had
Dave
to
Southward on
fight
lap
for that.
30 is
He had
first.
to...
Indeed,
To
especially
do
starting
stuff.
last place.
Yeah. Arrogant buzzard. And here we go. David Southward finishes in 1st position.
Southward finished first.
And Bose, hard fought, might have had him, to be honest with you, but just that one little mistake kept him from the kept him from the gold. But a nice podium finish in second place.
Cochrane
And we
is still
see
away.
Cochrane coming around now. Coming into the last few corners here. And here we go. Cochrane crosses the line for third.
Tim Ijantima is fourth. Tim Ijantima finished P4.
And
And-
Ijantima crosses the line for fourth.
And does a second.
Oh, man.
All right, thank you very much. So this has been Manico with the Open Wheel Racing Championship. And thank you very much to everyone watching. Thank you very much, Cody.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you very much. It's nice to get some racing underway again, and it's a shame we couldn't get more competitors in tonight. But we are optimistic that we will get some for the next round up of Spa next weekend.
In 2 weeks. Spa is in 2 weeks.
3 weeks, sorry. Yeah, my apologies.
All right. To all, including Cody and Tom, have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. See you soon. Save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other at the podium.